Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Howard and I travel the world teaching cybersecurity, hacking and artificial intelligence. Well, today we've just landed in Singapore and behind me you can see the world famous Jewel at Singapore Airport. We're in Singapore for a few days to attend a couple of cybersecurity conferences. And whilst we're here, we're going to have some fun. We're going to look around at some of the sites as well. So come along and join me and let's have a look around Singapore. So let's start our journey right in the center of where things are going on in Singapore at the Marina Bay Sands Hotel and Conference Center. You can see it right behind me. It is a wonderful 5-star hotel, a bit out of my price range, about $800 a night, but it does have a wonderful infinity pool on the roof if you've got the funds. Very famous on Instagram. Now the mall itself is beautiful inside. It's cool, air-conditioned, and there are tons of designer stores. There's restaurants, coffee shops, burger joints. Be aware, it is not cheap. You're going to spend a minimum of $25 for a burger and some fries without the drink. Now there's also a canal that runs through the shopping mall and you can actually pay for a ride on a gondola. It's really quite a nice place to go if it's hot outside. And it's always hot outside. Now to my right is the Art and Science Museum. It's also pretty famous. It has an ongoing Teamlabs exhibition as well as rotating different exhibitions. I'm going to go there hopefully tomorrow and take a look around. Now to my left, you can see Louis Vuitton. Again, a little bit out of my price range, but right behind Louis Vuitton is the very famous Apple Store. It is a wonderful structure. One more thing to see when we're here is just across the water is the very famous Merlion. This is a symbol of Singapore and we're going to take a closer look. Okay guys, we've come across the bay to the famous Merlion over here. Now it was a short walk from the Marina Bay Sands. You can go across, take a walk around, it's about 25 minutes. You could take the subway, but it is not very convenient, so I suggest you should walk. Now, as you can see, the Marina Bay Sands Hotel is behind me. Just to my right, you can see the Arts and Science Center, and to my left, you can see the iconic Apple Building. Now, if you want to go to the Gardens by the Bay and the very famous super trees, you can go into the mall, up 2 escalators, and through the right-hand column of the Marina Bay Sands Hotel, and that will take you to the super trees. That is the easiest way to get there. Now coming back to where we are now, this is the iconic Merlion, very famous in Singapore. The Merlion looks over the harbour and protects the city of Singapore. In this area, there are tons of restaurants and coffee shops. It is a really cool place to hang out. It's a little bit upscale, so the prices are a little bit high, but still a very pleasant place to be. If it's very warm, there's some nice restaurants with air conditioning. If it's not too warm, you can hang out by the coffee shops outside. Either way, you kind of have to come here if you're in Singapore. Okay, let's head over to the Gardens by the Bay and the super trees. So we're at the super trees at the Gardens by the Bay. This is a pretty short walk from the Marina Sands Bay Hotel. You just want to go southwards. It's not very far, half a kilometre. You can actually walk through the hotel on the upper levels to get here. This is a wonderful place. This is one of my primary memories about Singapore, the super trees. They are fantastic. Now every day at 8 p.m. there is a free show. You can come and watch the trees light up. The entrance to the gardens is free. There is a payment if you want to go up on the walkway itself. That costs I think about $20, and also a payment if you want to go to the enclosed greenhouses, which are apparently very spectacular as well, full of beautiful flowers. This is just a great place to calm down, take a seat and chill for a few hours, especially when it's a little bit cooler. It's a great place. So I'm with my colleagues from Secure Ninja. We're in Little India in Singapore, and for the very first time they've convinced me to try pon. It's in a pon leaf and it's spices and dried nuts and dried fruits, and it's apparently very delicious. It cleanses the palate after an Indian meal. I've just had an Indian meal, so let's give it a go. It's rather large. Oh, they're strong, but it's very nice. Yeah, thumbs up. Welcome to Singapore's Chinatown with restaurants, gift stores and temples. Let's take a look around. So whilst we're walking around Chinatown in Singapore, as well as all the restaurants, as well as all the gift stores, you're going to find some fresh fruit markets. Here's an example of one over here, and on display, pride of place, is durian. Now what is durian? It tastes kind of like sweet rotten garlic, and it smells like 5-day-old rotting trash. However, it's very popular with the natives. Not sure why, but it really is. Now there are signs on planes and subways and airports. You cannot take it on planes or subways. The smell is that severe. So, 2 other things that I recommend you do while you're in the Chinatown area in Singapore is visit a couple of temples. The first is a Hindu temple. It's called the Sri Mariamman Temple. It is a very, very busy and colourful temple. You're going to find people here praying during the day and in the evenings, so be prepared to come with crowds. You do have to take off your footwear. It's an awesome temple. So the second temple that I recommend you check out is a Buddhist temple. It is called the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple. It's also an awesome temple. There are thousands of miniature Buddhists in it. It is an awesome place to go. Just beware, it closes about 5 o'clock, so you want to get there during the afternoon or the morning. Both temples well worth a visit. So if you're in the Chinatown area and you fancy a bite to eat, I recommend you try Le Posset. It's in the area. Now Le Posset is a hawker market. Hawker markets are a cultural phenomenon in Singapore. They're all over the place. Here there are scores of restaurants. You can have Chinese food, you can have Thai food, you can have Malaysian food, you can even have Singaporean food. And there's also drink stalls and restaurant stalls as well. However, the crown and the jewel is Saute Street. That's where you're going to find all the saute stands. There's about 8 stands all selling saute, and you can get a big plate of mixed saute for not very much money. The food is delicious, but be prepared to bring your own napkins because the food really doesn't come with them in Asia and especially here. Interested? Let's take a look around. So for demonstration purposes only, here's the food. We've got some shrimp saute, some beef and chicken saute, and some Thai food, some vermicelli and some pad Thai. As promised, the food is absolutely delicious, well worth a stop. So let's talk Teamlabs and the Studio Ghibli exhibition. Both are in the Art and Science Centre right beside the Marine Bay Sands Mall. I visited both and had a fantastic time. The Teamlabs was extremely child-friendly. There are lots of interactive exhibitions and several where the kids scan a drawing they make and then it gets animated and projected onto a wall. While it's still interesting for adults, it is the best Teamlabs I've seen for kids 5 to 12. Now the Studio Ghibli exhibition was awesome. I like anime, but I loved this exhibition. It was mostly static exhibitions, but had maybe 5 animatronic ones as well. What made it stand out was the friendliness of the staff. Just their enthusiasm was fantastic. The attention to plot and character development from the movies was fantastic. I left wanting to learn more, and indeed, I have already booked tickets for the Ghibli Museum tour in Tokyo for April. So keep an eye out for that travel vlog coming soon. So I cannot recommend this exhibition enough. I stayed an extra day in Singapore just to see this exhibition. It's absolutely awesome. The information, the character development, the plot development, all the storylines are excellently displayed for everybody. The staff are absolutely awesome. Everyone is so helpful. They're taking pictures for everyone, smiling and laughing at everyone, and letting everyone interact with the exhibitions. If you're in the area, if you're coming to Southeast Asia, don't walk, run to Singapore and get this exhibition. I've been to Tokyo many times, I've been to many exhibitions. This is the favorite exhibition I've ever been to. All right, so let's talk some general advice on Singapore. You need to register your trip with the SGAC, that's the Singapore Government Arrival Card. You can do it via a web page or an app. You can do it up to 3 days in advance. I recommend you use the app because you'll have your QR code with you, but either way, take a screenshot because you never know when the Wi-Fi isn't going to work. When I'm in Singapore, I stay in the Bugis area. It's a great place because the hotels are not too expensive and there's great subway connections. Talking more about subway and transportation, I would take a Grab or a taxi to and from the airport because you're going to have your bags. And then I take the subway for everything else. The subway, as well as everything else in Singapore, is Japan level safe. The authorities in Singapore do not take kindly to miscreant behaviour. The subway fares are very reasonable. They're about $1.50 each way, depending on how far you're going. Now, Singapore is known as the fine city, and that's because there's lots of rules and lots of fines. There's fines for littering, for feeding the wildlife, for spitting, and for smoking in areas not designated for smoking. Vaping is completely illegal. Even having possession of a vaping pen will get you a fine. And don't even think about drug possession in Singapore. If you have largish quantities of drugs in Singapore, it is a mandatory death sentence. So just do not bring drugs to Singapore. I hope you enjoyed the lightning fast tour of Singapore. Now, if you've enjoyed the content and you want to see more of me traveling around the world, or you want to learn cybersecurity with me, please remember to subscribe, to like, and to turn on notifications because I have a lot more traveling content and we're going to learn some cybersecurity skills together. I'm Andrew Howard, the Cyber Irishman. See you again soon.